Since I'm recording videos back to back tonight, I decided to go with music that was slightly related to one another. So anyway, hello everyone and welcome to another video with me on Berets. And yeah, I've been off on Brave Exvius for a little bit because let's face it, not getting Aerith was a bit of a bummer, but more than that, I just kind of wanted to take a little bit of a break for a bit. Also because I definitely been seeing a little bit of a pattern emerging, but let's not talk too much about that. Let's talk about a surprise new banner in kind of a really odd little month in terms of banners. But first, here you go. Here's one for you guys. Let's see if we get a Neo Vision. You know that... Oh, that's not Neo Vision. Maybe the music was appropriately timed. I gotta say, pulling a blue feels pretty bad. Oh, never mind. There we go. I was gonna say that pulling a blue nowadays off any summon feels really bad because... Is it gonna go to red? Is it going to go to red? I don't have you! What a way to start a video. Okay, well, neat, I believe is the term. But let's talk a little bit about the news that has happened on the JP side, because I think that this is going to be pretty exciting for some people who are really just big Final Fantasy XII fans, especially not Bosch fans. Say hello to a brand new version of Gabranth and a brand new version of Larsa. Yeah, that's right, you are going to be getting a couple of, basically, start of this month was the Laswell and Axstar banner. The middle of the month was Soul, who is a unit that I have not talked about yet, but hey, I'll add him to the list of reviews. I have not forgot about the Garnet and Aiko review. I just haven't... I've been a little busy, and yeah, busy. Also, let's face it, I need to... You guys, I gotta get more views on these videos, right? Okay, but in all seriousness, let's take a little bit of a look, because a brand new Final Fantasy XII banner is exciting for a whole bunch of reasons, and I really love, for the most part, the unit selection that they have gone. So first of all, let's take a look at Balthier. Balthier has been the one chosen to get an upgrade to a Neo Vision status, and let me tell you, if there's one thing that I've learned from playing Brave Exvius for the last little bit, you know that the old Neo Vision upgrades are always better than the new Neo Visions. I'm not even joking or trying to be funny about that. That is just basically fact at this point. That, like, if you take a look at it, Tifa is better than Cloud. Laswell is better than Axstar. I'm blanking. I don't know about Sakura as well as Darkfina, but I think that they beat Soul as well. So that seems to be a general thing that's just going on. Weird. But anyway, looking at Balthier, Balthier will be getting a Neo Vision, and that's pretty cool because Balthier is, well, to me, one of the more interesting characters from Final Fantasy XII, and I think it's really great that they're giving an older unit like this just a little bit of a new lease on life. His Brave Shift Limit Burst is a lightning damage to one enemy, so it'll be interesting to see just what the mods on it are. We've seen this before, where units such as Tifa had an incredibly powerful limit burst in her Brave Shift. Laswell had an incredibly powerful limit burst in his Brave Shift, and I'm expecting this to be the next in the list of units to get powerful limit burst. Other than that, he's going to get a couple new abilities: attack status dependent on physical damage to one enemy, and damage to physical with Freedom Bullet and Freedom Injection? Translations just slightly feels a little bit off. But anyway, he will be on the banner as well with an uprate for older copies of him. So if you get him, if you already have him and he is TMR'd and everything, then hey, good news. You'll be able to potentially, or super TMR'd, you'll be able to start working towards that Neo Vision if you can't already. Continuing on, Larsa will also be getting a new 5 to 7 star, or as we now call this, TMR fodder to the next level. I wish I was kind of joking about that, but it is essentially true. New non-Neo Vision 5 stars have been good for their TMR, Super TMR, and potentially interesting for dark visions, but not incredibly interesting for dark visions. Either way, it looks like he is a bit of a support unit. Restore HP of all allies, gradually restores MP, adds barrier, activates time lag barrier potion next turn, which adds a barrier to all allies. So yeah, he is, first of all, his limit burst seems to be entirely support. Future Emperor is his TMR. It is an increased MP by 50% and a physical and magical counter that restores MP for allies. Pretty interesting. That might be interesting to throw on a tank. I'm not saying that I would go all out for Larsa, but I am saying that the TMR might be pretty nice in terms of an MP counter and a potential, fix to MP drain. MP drain. Uh-oh. What new trial is coming with this? Anyway. Aurora Curtains increases defense and light resistance to allies while reducing physical damage. Full Moon Curtain increases spirit and dark resistance for all allies with reducing magic damage. He has gradual recovery of MP for all allies, increase the amount of limit burst stones, and 4 turns unlocking some abilities. He has some recovery to 1 ally and HP to all other allies. Restore MP to 1 ally. So yeah, he looks like he just has a whole bunch of support in his kit. Interesting, like obviously some healer stuff. He can also completely recover enemies down, so is Larsa just going to be potentially the new healer? I wonder if Lena's on her way out. Guess we'll find out. But continuing on his Super TMR, let's take a look at that. 93 attack, 101 defense, 68 spirit, dagger, interestingly enough, with an ability on it that increases HP, and currently equipped 2 one-handed weapons. So there you go. Basically a dagger with a little bit of spirit, with a little bit of defense. I think that this is going to be a nice little Super TMR for a tank. If you were interested in a dual-wield tank, I also think it's just maybe interesting on a healer. Maybe. Does have a little bit of spirit and a good amount of defense, so obviously a more defensive item, but cool. And to cap it all off, we have, of course, I think the unit that a ton of people are going to be really excited about, Gisblaan. And just taking a look, does not look like Gisblaan has a shiny limit burst. Sorry, but he does get a Neo Vision, so he will be at least pretty good for the future. And what is not being pretty good is exciting. So taking a look at his normal limit burst, normal state limit burst, damage 1 enemy, reduce all ally damage for 4 turns. Sounds pretty reasonable. During his Brave Shift, he gets Execution, which reduces darkness damage to 1 enemy twice, darkness damage to all enemies. So reduce damage to yourself for 2 turns. So yeah, looks like this is going to be our first Neo Vision tank that is also offensive as well. His TMR Stray Dog, and this is interesting. Increase HP by 30%, equip 2 one-handed weapons to increase armor defense. I'm sorry? Are we getting true dual-wield defense now? Does that work with shields? I don't know, but it's interesting to say the least. Now, taking a look at some of his abilities, normal state, he has temporary receive physical damage instead of and increase your defense down resistance. He also has a temporary chance to receive physical attacks, reduce damage to all allies for 4 turns. During his Brave Shift, physical damage to 1 enemy dependent on defense status, and Mistblade, which also defensive status dependent physical damage and darkness resistance down. So what do we take away from this before we look at his Super TMR real quick? First of all, he is going to be a defense-based attacker. It seems like he's going to be true dual wield, which is interesting because obviously I think Larsa's Super TMR would probably just be just really, really good on this character. I think that he is going to be a partial tank / damage dealer and will shift between the two. So a couple of real quick thoughts about this. First of all, interesting that we are getting basically a Neo Vision tank. Second thought, interesting that he will have some damage, and wondering how shifting over will work with that, and if he can, how free he is to switch. That is a thing where Neo Vision sometimes they have a little bit of a prior lag before they can use their Brave Shift, and also potentially have a cooldown period too. So if he can switch freely back and forth, I think he's going to be really good and really interesting. If he can't, well, I guess we'll see. But taking a look at the last two pieces of the puzzle, first of all, his armor, which is Super TMR, HP of 500, attack of 15, defense 115, mind spirit 65, and increase HP by 30%. Really, really cool. Think that this is going to be essentially nice armor. Don't think it's anything too crazy. His vision card, on the other hand, is HP and defense level 10, 800 extra HP, 80 defense. Yeah, I think that this will just be essential if you're looking to use him. And it's the first defensive card, so it's probably going to be pretty good. As for other than that, it's basically your raid. Looks like we are going to be fight Ultima. Okay, alright. Bonus units for the raid, 60% for them, and a lot of Final Fantasy 12, but the one thing I'm not noticing in all of these bonus units, what the hell? I get it's a Final Fantasy 12 raid, but why did you have to exclude Soul? Why did you have to exclude all the bonus units from the rest of the... Never mind. Anyway, there will also be 10 free multi-pulls over the course of 10 days, so you're looking at 100 summons total, so definitely make sure to log in and do those whether you are super interested in this event or not. There'll also be a 1-a-day challenge fight where you'll be able to fight Omega Mark II, which is a boss I don't think I ever fought in Final Fantasy 12 and didn't know it was there. And shout out to Evil Laughter, who is probably really excited about this. She's finally here. We've been waiting for so long. Lorraine is getting her Neo Vision, finally, and wow. I really think that a lot of the Neo Visions don't have a huge difference in terms of their visuals, but I'm super happy to see that Lorraine is getting a really nice, I really actually love this. I love the paradigm between the armor and just this kind of beautiful, sexy, blue dress, long hair flowing. Looks amazing. I just love it. I love it, love it, love it. Looking at her Brave Shift, her limit burst becomes partial defense negate damage to all enemies, lightning and wind attribute resistance down, 3 turns access to Sword of Gust and Sword of Thunder and Gaze Thunder, which are wind damage, thunder damage, Thunder Sword being probably one of the more interesting ones, as well as Storm Thunder, which partially ignores damage. So there you go. And I think they also debuff, but translation will win. And damage, Blade Waltz, damage to all enemies, damage to specific abilities increase. Yeah, I'm just pretty happy to see that Lorraine is getting that. And in her Brave Shift form, also a couple of abilities. Attack status dependent physical damage to one enemy, and damage to specific damage abilities up, and twice attack status dependent on physical damage to one enemy. Looks like basically she is going to have a DPS, and again, this is one of those older units that I think is going to get a really nice upgrade. I would be overly surprised if she doesn't. I think it's going to be really, really cool. Really want to see the full details of the kit before we get too excited. if she is just going to be primarily DPS, to see how much DPS she is outputting. But some nice elemental synergy in her Brave Shift, it looks like, and definitely that artwork is to celebrate indeed. Probably going to be a little bit bigger on Global, since on JP she's still an EX unit and she still costs money. So there you go. Continuing on, basically your coin get for the new Neo Visions. Nothing overly unsurprising there. Going to be difficult, as well as the return of last month's old unit, Aerith. If you need to get Aerith coins, do this event to get Aerith coins. Pretty easy. New story update, pretty standard. A 1700 day download-a-thon, which will give some campaigns, nothing particularly that look too amazing. And continuing on, here's that new trial. Guess what? You are going to be fighting Dark Shiva and Dark Golem. And looking at it, you are going to be getting an armor from it. So potentially good for that new Neo Vision tank. 102 defense, 57 spirit, as well as, just gotta find where the heck I put that. Too many tabs open. Poison and illness, so disease, poison and disease, invalid, and soil attribute resistance up by 30. Should be interesting. I wonder if it's going to pair with the fact that the new Larsa TMR has, you know, MP regeneration. Maybe we'll see some MP drain in this trial. I'm not sure. But would definitely help to push potentially getting people to get off the banner, or get some stuff off the banner. There you go. So yeah, that is basically it. I think that overall the update looks pretty good, and it's nice to see that Final Fantasy XII people are getting some goodness with a brand new Gabranth. So there you go. Interesting. And apparently, I have a new bird girl. A little bit of exciting. Anyway, probably going to do a video really shortly about just Neo Vision reviews. And also, again, before that, the Ico and Garnet review, because somebody asked for it. I will be doing it soon. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Take care.